please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
With a quick check of the last street, after 6 days of continuous decline, markets saw a short recovery and we saw a short covering bounce today. So Nifty took support at its 200-day moving average and saw relief rally in the last hour. Both the Nifty and the Sensex, as you can see on your screens, rallied close to 1% by the end of the day. Mid-caps relatively underperformed if you compare it to the blue chips, but again closed with about 0.5% gain. Banks were outperforming very clearly today, with that index gaining 1% by the end of the day. Let's bring in Anuj Singhal as always to take us through a wrap of today's trading action. Anuj, what does the market texture now look like? Yes, bulls seem to be on a strong footing at least today, but how long can that recovery sustain?
Well, finally, some short covering bounce for the market. It looked like that was a possibility in the morning, though. Once the market opened, that gap up was sold into. But towards the end, there was fresh bit of buying. And once again, the Nifty has defended the 200-day moving average. The banks have led a powerful short covering, SBI and ICICI in particular. Basically, the stocks where you had the highest number of shorts. And as I said, 200-day moving average normally is a sacrosanct support for some days at least, and that's holding for now. Financials led the move, so SBI, ICICI, HDFC and Axis were all higher. Other index gainers today included names like Reliance, Infosys and Larsen & Toubro. On the losing end, Sun Pharma, well, it's been one-way journey for Sun Pharma ever since those hello observations. Tata Steel and also Yes Bank, though Yes Bank managed to recover towards the end. Big losers in the F&O space though today. Balrampur Chini, obviously the sugar cycle is turning. REC, PFC, they were down. IDBI Bank was down. Adani Power and BEML were other losers. While on the gaining side, you had stocks like Federal Bank, Reliance Infra and Amara Raja. So for now, the key takeaway is that right now the bulls may want to believe that a near-term bottom could be in place at the 200-day moving average. But let us see if that sustains over the next 2 weeks or not.
Okay, let's look at it as glass half full for now, Anuj. Thanks for joining in with that. But let's get sector specific. Power is a stress sector for the entire banking industry and not just the State Bank of India. Now, that was an honest confession by the Deputy MD of SBI, Sunil Srivastava, who spoke to us today. Now, remember, his statement comes exactly a day after Power Minister R.K. Singh told us that the country's largest lender is worried about its exposure to the Mundra power projects of both Adani Power and Tata Power. Now, remember, Srivastava said that there were quite a few stress power plants in the country. He warned that unless there was a resolution plan in place within 180 days, banks would have no choice but to declare them as non-performing assets. Remember, power loans formed over 10% of SBI's domestic loan book in the third quarter. We, in fact, also spoke to the management of Rural Electrification Corporation, or the REC, a crucial lender to the power sector. He, however, assured us that there was absolutely no stress in their loan book. Here are the two important interviews that we did earlier today.
Power is a stress sector for the banking system as such, not only State Bank of India. There are quite a few power plants which are yet in the process of implementation, but post February 12th circular of the Reserve Bank of India, there will be very little leeway for the banks except to recognize them as NPAs and to find a resolution plan within the next 180 days, which ends in August or perhaps in September, as the case may be. But during that period, to resolve all the issues in the power sector, where there is on the one hand, we are told that there is excess supply and therefore we do not need power. And on the other hand, we see the daily prices in the energy exchanges where power is being traded creeping up higher and higher. So there is obviously a problem related to distribution. And there is obviously a problem related to DISCOM's health. Now, these are all issues that have to be addressed in a very comprehensive manner. And addressing these issues in a short possible time of 6 months is going to be very, very difficult.
There is absolutely no stress. In my loan book, speaking for REC, 85% of our lending is to the state sector or to the central PSUs. And none of those assets are stressed. If you look at any of the financing institutions, we have the lowest NPAs, I mean, the gross of 2.9% and the net of 2%. Now, this is among the lowest, and this Reserve Bank of India guidelines certainly would have an impact, but that would not be substantial. We have already provisioned.
Okay. Okay, so that was REC talking about how at this point in time, at least, they didn't have any immediate stress in their loan book. But let's move on to another stressed asset. Videocon Industries Chairman Venugopal Dhut has said that lenders will not have to take haircuts on their loans to Videocon. And that's his statement in an exclusive conversation with CNBC TV18. Dhut, in fact, blamed the cancellation of telecom licenses for his group's debt crisis, but added that he hopes to convince banks and courts that Videocon is a solvent company. He also said that the group has already submitted loan repayment plans to its lenders. Listen in to what he had to say.
Company is having domestic and foreign debt together is only 20,000 crore rupees on Videocon International Limited. I am quite sure bank will not be required to take any haircut because our brand is very valuable. We are having properties worth around 7,000 crore rupees and we are having a lot of other assets also. We think that there is no fault from our side. Our telecom license has been cancelled and that's why we came into this position. But we don't want bank to make any loss. We have given all plan to repay all of our money to the bank. So on this point we have gone and we are quite hopeful that we will be able to convince bank also and the court also that we are solvent company. From next year we will start the oil production and we will be able to pay all the money borrowed from oil field to the bank as it starts production. We can say that we have got a Videocon brand and with other Nick brand we are having a going concern business and this going concern has got a great value and we can pay money to the bank. Apart from that we are having 7,000 crore rupees worth of properties and looking at all these things we will be able to pay to the bank their loan. Only thing is that it is a question of time only. Merger has not taken place yet and after merger will take place we will decide what to do, but about merger etc. The authority to talk is about with dish management and we don't know anything on that, but merger will take place very soon in 4-5 days time. That is what we think and then we will decide what to do in future.
Okay, let's shift focus from corporate to the big national headline for a minute. The fate of the TDP-BJP alliance looks extremely bleak as Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu throws open a whole host of issues and questions. In fact, the breakup now between TDP and BJP is imminent and there are a few resignations that are also likely. Nithya Balakrishnan is here with exclusive details. Nithya, what can we expect in the next few hours?
Absolutely, Kritika. It looks like it's D-Day as far as the alliance between the BJP and TDP goes. In fact, what we're given to understand is that formal resignation of the Civil Aviation Minister Ashok Gajapati Raju and Minister of State for Science and Technology Y.S. Chaudhary is likely to be handed in New Delhi any moment now. Now, with this, Chandrababu Naidu, the president of the TDP, categorically making it clear they will settle for nothing less than special status for Andhra Pradesh. Now, step one is withdrawing his ministers from the union government, and he indicates that if the centre does not blink on his demands, then categorically step two will be to withdraw from the NDA alliance. The final decision on that is expected in the next 24 hours. But also it's important to just take a quick minute to look at the ramifications of this move. This is a political move that will have huge impact on the 2019 general elections. Will other allies of the BJP follow suit should TDP decide to end ties with BJP? Will TDP then look at joining hands with Mamata Banerjee and TRS here in Telangana? Is that a possibility? And of course, we're also talking about Andhra Pradesh that comes up for state elections in 2019. So will YSR Congress, led by Jagan Mohan Reddy, then look at allying with BJP? So it's a single decision that could have huge ramifications, not just on politics and public life here in Andhra Pradesh, but on the central level as well, Kritika.
Okay, Nithya, a whole host of questions there, and the answers, of course, we will know only in the next few hours. But thanks for taking us through those details. We will keep getting Nithya back as and when we have updates on the story. But for now, we'll take a very, very short break. Up next, Gitanjali Group's Mehul Choksi. Welcome back. Let's get to the latest in the INX media money laundering case. Now, the Supreme Court today asked Karti Chidambaram to approach the Delhi High Court for seeking any interim protection from arrest by the Enforcement Directorate in the case. Karti had moved the Apex Court seeking quashing of summons and all the proceedings initiated by the Enforcement Directorate, terming it unreasonable. The Supreme Court has further requested Delhi High Court to consider Karti's plea for hearing on Friday. Well, from one developing dramatic case to another, Mehul Choksi, one of the prime accused in the alleged fraud at Punjab National Bank, has written to the CBI expressing his inability to return to India to face charges. Choksi, who is the promoter of Gitanjali Gem, cited health problems as well as suspension of his passport as reasons for not coming back. He, however, pulled no punches while criticizing the CBI and other probe agencies for what he calls gross abuse of law. Utkarsh Chaturvedi is here with details. Utkarsh, you have read Choksi's letter. You are in possession of that interesting set of allegations that he makes. But take us through point to point. What are the key takeaways that stand out here?
More than an explanation of why he can't come, this looks as a public statement. Mehul Choksi has gone ahead and written an 8-page letter to CBI explaining why he can't come for the investigations. Now, there are basically 3 parts to this whole letter. I will run you through all of them. First of all, the operational part of why he can't come. He says that it is impossible for me to travel as my passport stands suspended. Well, if CBI really suspends your passport, it gives you an option to go to the Indian embassy and they're going to arrange for your travel documents. But more than that, what he says is that he is not in a position to travel due to his health concerns, and he has had a cardiac procedure in February, so he cannot travel for the next 4 to 6 months. This is the procedural part. Now, moving ahead, what he said is that he's being threatened by individuals who he has business with, whether it be customers, whether it be employees or his creditors. They have generated certain kind of an animosity against him. Also, he has slammed the political parties and said that, you know, the whole issue is being unnecessarily politicized to glorify their own interest. He also took a dig at the media reports, saying that a bias has been created against him due to the media reports. Lastly, he has also taken on the CBI for going ahead and revoking his right to silence of constitution. What he says is that CBI has seized all his servers, and because of that, he has no records of any of his businesses whatsoever. Also, he has gone ahead and said that investigative agencies cannot infringe his right to silence. Also, he said that this has been a gross abuse of law by investigative agencies. Now, as I said, more than a reply to a letter saying that why I can't come, this looks as a public statement. He has taken a dig on the political parties, media, as well as all the investigative agencies. But regardless, CBI will carry on with all its procedures. There is a procedure that they have to send summons thrice. ED has already done that. A non-bailable warrant has been issued against him. So clearly, CBI will follow all the protocol to bring him back to the country if they can.
Okay, fair enough, Utkarsh. Thanks for taking us through that. And that is, of course, another developing story. We will keep bringing you updates as and when they pour in. But let's move on. The government has sought Parliament's nod to spend an additional 85,000 crore rupees in the current fiscal. Of this, around 70% or 59,000 crore rupees is earmarked to compensate states for revenue loss on account of GST rollout. Another major spending head is over 15,000 crore rupees, and which is essentially going towards grants and aid and creation of capital assets under various schemes. Getting back to corporate stories, and this one's an exclusive, we learned from sources that the Competition Commission has cleared Reliance Communications' proposal to sell its assets to Reliance Jio. The cleared proposal includes sale of Reliance Communications tower business, fiber networks, portion of spectrum holdings and telecom infrastructure to Jio. Now, the sale is expected to be closed by the end of this month, since the CCI nod has come in, and this is the first time that we have been able to get an access to how much the value is, which we understand stands at about 18,000 crore rupees. But getting back to national news again, farmers from Maharashtra continued their long march from Nasik to Mumbai to seek complete loan waiver. The farmers began the 180 kilometers long march last evening from the CBS Chowk in central Nasik, took a night halt and resumed their journey to today on the Mumbai-Agra National Highway. They plan to gherao the Maharashtra Vidhan Sabha after reaching Mumbai on the 12th of March. Okay, time for a very quick break. But up next, as a part of our special series on smart cities, we get you a status check of how smart is Pimpri Chinchwad. Stay tuned. Welcome back onto our special series. Less than a year ago, political conflict forced the city of Navi Mumbai to exit the race to become one of India's smart cities. And this opened the doors for a small city popularly known as Navi Pune to enter the fray. Within months, 35-year-old Pimpri Chinchwad had secured a spot on the list of designated smart cities. So just how quickly have things progressed on the ground? CNBC TV18's Ashwin Prilorkar and Kevin Lee find out.
Cities program was structured as a competition between cities. The prize? Those with the best ideas and proposals would receive central funding first. This led to cities getting aggressive with their planning. 2 years since the mission was first launched, cities which made the first 2 lists of smart cities have started work, but also missed deadlines on several projects. But in this, Pimpri-Chinchwad, which joined the race late, has taken the road less travelled, quite literally.
Pimpri-Chinchwad was one of the latest entrants to the Modi government's flagship Smart Cities project, and most of the development is focused on this road that you're seeing behind me.
The city made it to the list of prospective smart cities after 60 other cities, so it did not have to resort to aggressive deadlines or over-ambitious projects in its smart city proposal. It chose instead one centrally located, well-maintained main road and made that the focal point of its smart city exercise. In many ways, Pimpri-Chinchwad's journey has been that of the proverbial tortoise racing the hare.
As and when the project has started implementation, everybody has become wiser, and the third round cities are much more wiser and learned from the earlier experiences of the lighthouse cities. We have learnt our way. We have chosen projects which are doable in the time frame.
That's not to say Pimpri-Chinchwad does not have big plans for its own transformation. Its proposals include building 62 kilometers of new roads, converting an old sewage treatment plant into an upscale recycling facility, and putting in place a bus rapid transit system to connect houses in the area to the IT corridor that runs close by. But Pimpri-Chinchwad is in no hurry to get this done because its deadlines draw near only by the end of 2019.
So I think we are in much better position to complete the works on timelines, plus expand them, scale them in a more systematic manner. So that way, third round cities would be much in better position to plan, to incubate and execute their projects on timelines.
Not biting off more than it can chew is not the only lesson Pimpri-Chinchwad has learnt. It has also taken notes from the experiences of other smart cities and noticed that several older smart cities have struggled to entice bigger companies from bidding for projects. So the corporation has decided to club its 40 smaller projects into clusters. It hopes this will grab the attention of bigger companies because of the bigger payday promised.
We have still not yet finalized our strategy. Once the DPR is getting developed, that time only we will be able to decide on the number of works, number of tenders that would be issued. But we intend to club similar packages so that we will be able to get the best expertise, best technologies to complete the work.
The corporation seems confident, but there's no denying that work has begun piling up. For now, all 40 smaller projects of the Pimpri-Chinchwad Smart City are still in the planning stage. While 2019 may seem a while away, the municipalities of other smart cities have found that these deadlines have a way of creeping up on them, and that's something the PCMC has taken note of. After all, even the tortoise couldn't afford to take a nap. In Pimpri-Chinchwad with Ashwini Priyolkar, Kevin Lee.
That's the last story from our special series Smart Cities Report Card. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of After the Bell. But before we go, we would like to wish all our viewers a very happy Women's Day. And before we let you go, we would also like you to meet all the women behind this show. And a special thank you to our senior producer Madiha for tolerating, and that's specifically from my end, for tolerating me handling this show very patiently and being a fabulous reporter, fabulous producer. Thank you so much for watching the show.